able to hear all things regarding money, success, and personal development. Tune in on Wednesday in the Grace Stream. Jump in.
Like that intro.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is the Ray Austin. This is the Austin Collab Money Talk. We're back for another special show. I got a very, very cool guest in the studio, Mr. Darrion Butler. How you doing, young fella?
I'm well, sir. I'm well. Thank you. I think I'm older than you, DeRay, so it's all good.
Man, thank you for taking time out of your day to come and join us.
Man, I love doing this, man. I'm grateful to be here, man. I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you. So,
hey, man, I appreciate that.
Definitely.
That means a lot.
Give you kudos on your show and what you're doing out here, man. I know this is a part of your dream and part of your vision, man. So I'm definitely happy for you.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. And honestly, man, I wouldn't be able to do a lot of these things without people, like yourself. I got to talk to your brother Delano a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I've really been blessed to be, give it Delano a shout out.
Town Square Mortgage in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, like I said, the guests make this show possible, No one want to hear me talk all day because y'all know I could, but, it makes it possible. So, for those of you who don't know, Darrion is a realtor, and that's actually how we connected, kind of through Delano, my girlfriend, when you were helping Brandy through the whole home buying process.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was fun with Brandy, man. She was a pretty standard buyer and the price point that she was, and
right.
We were blessed to be able to find her something, that worked for her, man. And I'm glad because it's a part of what your show is about, man. Since she bought about a year and a half, 2 years ago, her property values went up about $30,000.
I know she told me that.
So
that's
that building that wealth, and closing that wealth gap from other areas, man, it's helping out a lot, man. She's just a prime example.
Absolutely. And I actually want to ask you, how you and Delano got connected. But before I get to that, I forgot. We have our first sponsorship today.
Yeah.
This show is being sponsored by the McCary Financial School.
Yeah.
He actually is a young brother that I connected with on Facebook, and like I said, this show wouldn't be possible without me connecting with other positive individuals, and this young brother is one of them. He's actually, we and him are in the same industry, so we're all about teaching financial education, talking about, wealth creation, and, trying to, reach high levels of financial success. So he was gracious enough to sponsor this show. If you're following us or watching us on Facebook, the link is in my status. He actually has, again, the McCary Financial School. You can go and enroll right now. Now, it does cost money, but, one of the best things you can invest in is yourself.
Absolutely.
You can invest in real estate. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
But one of the best things that you can invest in is yourself.
Absolutely.
So you can go and check this course out, guys. It is packed with a ton of information. And honestly, he told me the price point, and I thought he could charge a little bit more for what he's offering in the course. But he wanted it to be reasonable. He wanted it to be affordable.
Yeah.
And, it goes over a lot of things regarding financial literacy. How it impacts your everyday life. What does it mean to be financially literate? The importance of credit and how to minimize debt. The importance of owning your own business. Shout out to all my entrepreneurs.
Man, absolutely.
Yes, sir. It talks about leaving a legacy to your family by creating, a will or a trust, and how to pass down your assets. I'm sure you've come across some families, who inherited a home or, so it's a lot of things that you need to know to become financially literate, especially if you're trying to build wealth.
Yeah.
So shout out to my boy Ryan, real cool dude. Again, the link is on my Facebook there. It's also, if you check him out on Facebook, Ryan McCary, and also McCary Financial Solutions. So definitely check it out. It's on my link. And if anyone else is interested in sponsoring the Austin Collab Money Talk, we would definitely appreciate it. We're working every week to get our viewers up, our listeners up. Yeah. So I would definitely be more than happy to, shout you out, have your link on my live stream. So if that's something you may be interested in, don't hesitate to inbox me. You can also email me at theaustincollab@gmail.com. So,
what's up, man?
Boom. There's our sponsor for today. Now, back to our guest.
All right.
Again, you guys, I've told you guys that he's involved in real estate, but just tell us a little bit, more about exactly what it is you do and how you got involved in it.
Well, truthfully, getting where I am as far as real estate, man, is it's been a blessing more than anything else.
Right.
And one thing, and I'll have to pause. I always do. I promise God, anytime I got to do what I do for a living and get behind a microphone, that I give Him all praise, honor, and glory for that, man. So
blessing. I wrote that down as a blessing. I wrote my 5 things I'm thankful for. That was one of the things. Hey, thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, man. So thank you, God, for allowing me to be here and to do what I love to do on a regular basis. Because everybody may or may not have that opportunity, man. Which I'm proud of you for stepping out on faith and doing this, man. You got to take that first step. But how I got to doing what I'm doing, man, it was. I mean, again, it was truly God. I mean, I started. I thought about this years ago when I was at Bank of America doing personal banking. I used to have to also do loan originating, and I was there quite a while. And I met Delano at our church. And,
are you at Westside?
Yeah, that's why I hadn't been. I'm still a member there, so we'll pray about that. but yeah, I met Delano at Westside, and we always kind of knew of each other. And it's just amazing how our careers really went in parallel. I mean,
right, because he started off in banking.
Chase.
Right.
Yeah.
So kind of worked out.
I left Bank of America. I think he left Chase shortly after. I got into real estate. He got into loan originating. And I mean, man, that's my brother, man. We've been supporting each other from the beginning.
Right.
And we've truly watched both of our businesses grow. It really parallel, man. My brokerage was with his sponsoring lender at the time, so we did everything together. Every deal that I could send him is why I sent him. And I still love our Fathom's sister lender, Parkmont Mortgage. They're awesome. Delano I still work with him on things, but it's just been a parallel, and great growth throughout these really, I guess, 5-6 years at this point. We really look all the way back.
Okay, now I definitely want to get to that growth part because I'm at a point where I'm ready to start, growing. This is year 2 for me, I'm ready. I definitely want to ask you about that. But before I get to that, I've talked to a lot of people. A lot of friends and family, who always have questions about real estate, or if someone who even want to, become a realtor or get involved. So what steps do you take to, get your license and actually get up, you start your own company or you go work for someone? Or how does that work?
So, and yeah, we'll definitely talk. So, getting your real estate license, it's not hard. I mean, you go to Champion School of Real Estate, you can go to Kaplan. You can go. The only thing you do is take the necessary courses that you need. If you have some college credits, that can offset some of the courses that you may have to take.
Really?
You don't have to have a college degree for it. I'm the first to tell you, I don't have one. I spent 7 years in college, and 4.5 of it I was having a lot of fun.
Right.
So, but and not saying that college wasn't for me, but I worked a lot and I played a lot at the same time. But this is one of the few careers where you can make a lot of money without a college degree. So, but it just like any other business self-starting, you have to put something into it in order to get something out of it.
Right.
So, once you complete your classes and you pass the test, you are now able to become a licensed real estate agent. You must have your license held with a sponsoring broker. Sponsoring broker. There are several out there. Sponsoring brokers, meaning, Keller Williams.
That's the first one to come to my mind. They're one of the largest ones.
They're the largest. They're the largest. So, but have your license held with a sponsoring broker, and there's a lot into that. I don't just say pick the most popular brand. Everybody knows Keller Williams, but you as an agent need to know what they're going to do for you and what you have to give to them in order for you to be successful.
Right.
Which is one of the reasons that I chose Fathom as the brokerage that I am.
That's who you're with, Fathom?
I'm Fathom Realty, yes. And special shout out to my CEO, Josh Harley, man. He's an awesome guy, along with the rest of the team there, the district directors, Michael Creighton and Carol and Jeff and Ron and all of those guys, man. They're very supportive. And my broker, JR, man, he a lot of people say, man, why did you choose Fathom? And I joke, I was like,
that was my next question. Because you talked about, that's something that you look at when you're choosing.
Yeah, and they let me run my business the way I want to. Within the TREC rules and guidelines and broker guidelines, you know, I run my business how I want to, which allows me to put my own personality onto my business because I'm not governed by huge commission splits. You know, and I'm able to use the money that I keep to do more marketing. You know, I've done radio ads on radio stations, major radio stations. I'm on a billboard with one of my partners right now.
Really, where that?
That's off of 380 in Little Lamb, man. So,
okay.
Yeah, so you know,
stay on that side of town now too, right?
Yeah, I'm up in Frisco.
Okay.
So, you know, being able to keep a lot of money in my pocket to be able to do those sponsoring, do those marketing items, lets me run my business the way I want to, you know, where you got a lot of judicial policies in some brokerages, and nothing's wrong with any of them. They're all great. It's just choose the one that works best for you.
And guys, you see what he did right there? That's, if you're looking for, you know, a realtor or any type of person for a product or a service, and there's different competitors, he didn't bash them. He didn't say anything bad about them. I just wanted to point that out because that was real smart. Yeah. He said they're all great.
Yeah, they are.
You know, that's the type, you know, you can still make the sale without, you know, throwing someone under a bus or bashing them. So that was, I like what you did there.
Yeah, man, they're all great, man. And I'm not going to, I could tell you great things about each and every one of them.
Right.
You know, Keller Williams does have an amazing training program. Century 21 gives you great support. Remax has a branding that, you know, is unparalleled.
Remax, I heard that.
Yeah,
okay.
JP and Associates, they have great things as well. Nothing wrong with any of them, but it's just like any other business relationship. You have to find one that works well with you. And I came from a small brokerage before, Diamond D Real Estate, and I joke with my brokers all the time. You know, nothing wrong with that brokerage, and it allowed me to work and grow. But I needed more support. I needed more from my brokerage. Therefore, I switched over to Fathom, and it's been great ever since.
Now, how many brokers do you have at Fathom?
We have one principal broker, and that's J.R. Russell.
I mean, how many agents?
How many agents?
Realtors, yeah.
I need to, haven't seen the update. I know Texas has the most. I want to say DFW has the largest. We're around 700-800 up. Actually, no, I'm wrong. I think last night we were close to 1,000.
Just in Texas?
Just in Texas.
Okay.
We are headquartered out of North Carolina, but we're licensed to sell in 13 states.
Wow.
So, you know, we have plenty of, not licensed to sell, but we are, Fathom is in, I believe, 13, 16 states, and that's continuing to grow as well. So we're going to take over the industry before it's all over.
All right, that's fair.
And my district director, Michael Creighton, is watching, man. Thumbs up to you, Michael. I appreciate you.
That's what's up. But that's good. You want to be with an organization that's growing, that's, you know, positive vibes, positive energy. So, but that's good that you know that they let you, you know, run your business how you want to do it. And just speaking on that, like I said, I wanted to get back. You said you've been doing this for about 5 or 6 years. Yeah. What have you done to grow your business, to get to where you're at right now?
It's a lot of, let me not take credit, man. God has really blessed my business. And I have to take a step back and look at, you know, even from the beginning, you know, relationships that I made in high school, you know, and my character in high school. And Michael corrected me on the number of agents. We have 600 in Texas and 1,400 in the nation.
Okay.
So 1,400 plus. Thank you, Michael, for that. But, you know, just relationships I made throughout high school, throughout college, throughout my professional career, you know, when I was in IT or in corporate world. That's really where it all started. And, you know, a lot of, when you get into business like this, any type of what they determine as a sales job, your relationships and your sphere of influence is huge.
You don't consider it a sales job, or you do?
You know what? This is what I tell my buyers. I tell my buyers, just like I told Brandy, I would never sell you on a house as a buyer because I'm never going to make your mortgage payment. Right. That's what I tell them. But as a, you know, when I do have a listing, I do have to present the product in the best way it possibly can. And if that form it is a sale or being in sales, because you're having to present a product. Right. But outside of that, I mean, it's not a typical sales job in my opinion. I'm a mediator. I am a representative of my clients, and you know, I'm there to provide the best service and information, more so than sell anybody on anything.
Gotcha. Okay, I dig it. But you do need people to buy houses to put food on your table too, right?
Man, amen. Yes, definitely.
Right. But that's good because I think as far as the answer that you get to the question, because it comes back to to something that I've talked about in a lot of my shows is about building relationships. And, you know, like you said, that's helped you get your business to, you know, kind of where it is right now.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I'm glad that you've been able to grow it, but talk about any road bumps that you faced along the way and how you got past those.
Man, it's road bumps are gonna come, but they are, in my opinion, basically learning experiences. My first 7 deals, I remember with my old broker, I used to be like stressed out. So I'm like, man, why is this so hard? Is this really for me? And you know, him being that seasoned agent, he was like, Darrion, just relax. He was like, every part of this is for you to learn from. If it was an easy transaction every time, how are you gonna know how to deal with the complicated stuff? And every transaction is different. And starting your business, I mean, it's going to be road bumps, whether it's financial management, you know, whether it's time management, discipline, getting out of your comfort zone, because, you know, there's agents that really are good at doing this, but they sit at home all day. and you can't. I mean, to just point blank period, you can't. Nobody's going to knock on your door or call your phone while you're sitting there watching SportsCenter that morning and say, hey, can you come show me $1 million house? Not unless you've gotten out prior to and built that relationship. So you have to continue to work at it. You know, it's some pros and cons, schedule flexibility, but people say, oh, man, you break your own schedule. No, I work for thousands of people. I work for every buyer and every seller in DFW. So, yeah, do I have some flexibility in my schedule? Absolutely. You know, I can carve out time, but, you know, most successful agencies, you can probably do a survey. I mean, we're busy. You know, I'm leaving here and I have 3 more appointments today. Really? Yeah.
Showing houses?
And glory to God, I have a $3.1 million apartment complex I have to show.
So I want to get to this apartment complex with my man, Lauren. He's been on these multi-unit buildings. Grant Cardone's been on there, but we're going to get to that later. Because we definitely got to talk about the investing part, the money part. This is the Austin Collab Money Talk. Absolutely. But before I got to that, I kind of wanted you, to get through your story, to see, how you made the progress that you made. So before we get to the investing, you said, you're flexible. You got 3 showings today. Yeah. So you're showing an apartment building?
I have a pocket listing for an apartment building in Denton off of Teasley, right? 2 miles from University of North Texas. It's a 37 unit complex, sitting on a few acres and room to grow. But it is the perfect investment property in my opinion.
Investment. So you think you're going to sell it to an investor or someone? Well, obviously it'll be an investor.
It will be, but when I look at any property, I look at big picture of it. Whether you're buying a single family residence or you're buying an apartment community. In this particular one, where the big popular thing now is to flip a house. Well, you ever heard of somebody flipping an apartment building?
I have. I've read books about it. Yeah. Or watched some YouTube video about it, but a lot of people haven't heard of it. That's why I got you here.
That's what when you start getting to a wealth level and really making real money, as I call it, this is what you kind of deal with, and I'll give you this particular property as an example. This is my marketing pitch for it.
Okay, there you go. Hold on before you get this pitch, because I'm gonna send this pitch out to my Instagram. All right, y'all be sure to follow me on Instagram, The Austin Collab, Snapchat, The Austin Collab. Are you on Instagram too?
Yes, I am. At DB the Realtor.
There we go.
I'm on there. All right. Let me know when you're ready for this pitch. It's gonna be my marketing pitch for this property.
All right, go ahead and market that property.
All right, so this property is in Denton, Texas. 35 townhome units. Of the 35 townhome units, 19 of them are 2-bedroom. The other 16 are 1-bedroom. These are 2-story, either 2-bedroom, 2-bath, or 1-bedroom, 1-bath, or some are 1 and 1.5. Current market rent is, and I'll go really investor numbers. So at this location, their market rent is about 88 cents per square foot. The average in that area is $1.03.
Hold on. Say that one more time.
Okay, so I'll break it down in realistic numbers. So if you have a 100 square foot house, they're renting it out for $88. That's what they're renting it out for. Where the average should be $103.
Okay, can you let's talk to what they're renting out for the whole bedroom.
so a 2-bedroom over there right now is last numbers I saw is about $850. What they should be charging is closer to $925.
Really?
What they should, but
is it close to the campus?
It is. It's off of Teasley. I mean, that's one. It's the Londonderry Oaks is right there. It's a 4-other apartment community. It's about, like I said, no more than 2 miles away from the UNT exit.
Okay,
and also TWU is there too. So it's right next to 77. You can shoot straight down and get to TWU as well.
Right.
So very great location as far as community. Property pluses. So on top of the 35 units, you also have a 6,000 square foot house that is on the property. Of that 6,000 feet, there are 2 efficiency units in the back at $500, 500 square feet each. They're also paying $500 a month for rent for those units. The monthly income from this property right now is about $34,000. Now that's gross. That's not net. After expenses, it's around 12.
Around 12. The expenses like rental, the maintenance,
your property management, salaries, the mortgage per se on this property. So here's the plus side to it and why it's a great investment property. All 35 units need to be redone. Once all 35 units are redone,
so you have to put some money. Whoever buys it, you have to put some money into it.
They have to put some money into it.
So it's selling for $3.1 million.
Correct.
Going to have to invest some money into it.
Correct.
You have an estimate for how much you're going to have to invest into it?
To be honest with you, it probably is going to cost you about $1 million. And that's on the high end. The buildings need roofs.
I like to look at the high end.
The buildings need roofs. There needs to be some landscaping done. There needs to be an upgrade to all additional units. You're going to have some attrition. As you raise rents, you got to get some people out of there. There's one guy that's been living there since 2005 and paying the same amount for rent since 2005.
What? Where they do that at?
Exactly.
They need to do that in my complex.
So, but it's a perfect property to go invest in and flip. So here's where your show and what I try to explain to other people. We're not. If we had, say, me and you had $600,000 right now, we could buy this town, this apartment complex.
600 each?
No, together. So
together.
You 3, me 3. You 300 grand, me 300 grand.
Anybody out there got 300 grand? You know what I'm saying? I got about a stack.
Yeah, I got 5 on it. Like I said. But you could take and this is how the investment side works when you start dealing with commercial, because this is the multifamily or / kind of commercial deal. You take, say, 600 grand and you finance. We probably can get the property for about $2.8, to be honest with you.
Okay.
You do a 3-year interest only loan on this house, on this complex. Hear me out on this. 3-year interest only, which means
now this is paying someone who has decent credit.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Strong
credit and cash.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
we're working on getting there. We're gonna stack the cash, get the credit, stack the cash.
And I'll tell you how to start with baby steps to get there.
Yeah.
But take that 600 grand, get an interest only loan for 3 years. In those 3 years, your mortgage payment will be maybe around $8,000.
$8,000.
Your expenses may be another. We'll say high end and say 7. So you're looking at 15 grand a month on covering the cost of the property.
And you said right now the cash flow is about 34.
So
is that based on the rent that they're charging right now,
yes,
without going up?
This is without going up.
Before the renovation.
And this is at 90% occupancy rate. So
that's
not
good,
even,
right?
Not even full. So we'll be conservative with the numbers. We'll say you're bringing in 30 grand a month. So of that 30 grand, you got 15 on expenses. So you're netting another 15 grand. Very conservative numbers. As an investor, you can pocket 5 for capital. Use the other $10,000 to renovate these properties.
Right.
Now, you may not be able to get to all of them at once, but as they become vacant, you go in, you make them nice. There needs to be a fence built. Again, there needs to be some landscaping done. But you take those 3 years to renovate or flip the property.
So if someone were to go in there and do that, and by your expertise,
yes.
and let's just say 5 years out, let's say 7 years out, you've
yes.
done that. You say we can maybe get it for 2.8 right now. What do you think the value would be, a few years down the line?
That's hard to tell, but I will tell you factual numbers now.
Okay.
A similar apartment complex less than a quarter mile away sold for $5.5 million, with less units and less updates. So the other plus to this property is there's already permitted land to where you can build additional units on it. So by the time you renovate, by the time you build additional units, by the time you create that 6,000 square foot house, really 5,000, into an amenity center, put a media room, put a workout facility in there for them. Now, the value of this property is increased because now you're charging $1.03 per square foot for rent. So you've increased the property value based upon rent 15%. And with normal increases in property value as it is, I could easily say you could sell this property for $6.5 million in 3 years. Here's the investment side of it. You're an investor. All interest is written off. So this $8,000 a month you paying for your mortgage, that interest-only loan, it's a write-off on your business. Employee salaries, benefits, all that stuff, write-off on your business. So you're netting a lot more than what you're really coming out of.
I see. So is this particular property, is it like when I say turnkey, is it all, you already got the employees in place? The property management is already
in place.
You ain't got to go find?
Nope. Now, to be honest, I'll probably, evaluate who's there.
That's smart.
Definitely evaluate who's
That's
there.
Smart, right.
You get in as a business owner, you reevaluate each investment that you have and try to run the thing as efficiently as possible.
So do you have any relationships with like property management companies?
Yeah. I'm thinking about starting one on my own, man.
That might not be a bad little business.
Next year or so, I have to get the insurance for it, but I see that as a gap in some areas that I see, and I want to be able to fill it in.
Yeah. Okay. On that property, before we move on, who's selling it right now? Do you know the seller? Like, what's prompting them to sell this property?
He, very great guy. Actually, I got to call him today because I got another contract for him. But very great guy. He's actually in the restaurant business, and he's just trying to liquefy everything. And instead of being in the multifamily, because this is one of two that I have to sell for him. We have another one that's $1.5 million that's going to go as is at $1.5 million. It's another 16 unit one. And, we'll work on that when it's done because he's renovating all of those 16 units. But he's just trying to liquefy, put all his money in his restaurants and open a couple of new ones and go that route. But this particular guy, he's, he's done pretty well for himself over the years. Very great, very humble guy.
Really?
And it's really a pleasure knowing him, really.
That's good, man. It seems like just being, in your industry, you meet so many different types of people.
Absolutely.
A lot of them who are doing well.
Yeah. Well,
it's good to be around that, Darrion.
It didn't start that way. it didn't start that way.
Success doesn't happen overnight, guys. I can tell you that. Otherwise, I'd already be a millionaire.
Exactly.
And I done put in really more than you're full time, but y'all didn't see the year of prepping just to get here. Yeah. So that's good that you get to be, your business has grown to where you got to be around these type of people. So, it's funny that you're about to sell this, or work on selling this property, but you've also helped families get in a home. So, out of your business, are you working more with like investors or like people who actually just want to buy a house and live in it?
I have by the grace of God, man, but I have a truly what I call balanced portfolio. I do have a good handful of consistent investors. I do have a good handful of clients that are selling their home, buying another one. I have a great balance of buyers that are first-time buyers. As a good agent, you can't, and I don't say can't, it gets tough putting all your buckets in one particular pool of people. Because as seasonality goes, buyers in certain demographics don't buy in the fall, where buyers in certain demographics look at it as an opportune time because the market slowed down slightly and I'm not competing against multiple offers all the time. Certain investors, depending on what they're doing, if they're buying just to rent this thing out, or buying to flip, that's a seasonal, because you don't want to go on the contract with a flip property that's under $150,000 in September, because you can't take another contract on a FHA for 91 days.
Oh.
So October, November, December. What are people doing in December? They're buying Christmas and, getting ready for the new year. So now you're holding on to this property longer than what you need to, which is going to cut into your profit margin. So it's a seasonality to it all, and when you get into real estate and really want to be good at it, you have to know all of those different parameters.
You gotta know your market,
yes.
Right. So, would you say right now is a good time to invest in real estate?
Absolutely.
Because it seemed like just a year or two ago, it was just like really like a seller's market. Like it's a good time to sell your home.
Yeah. It's in my opinion, the reason the market
you was getting people getting multiple offers for people to come by their house
all day long. Even Brandy's, even the one that she bought. But I think the reason the market is so strong is because it's a great time for both sides. We're currently in a pretty good economy. Unemployment rate is pretty low. Interest rates are low. Lenders are starting to loosen their grip on lending. FHA loans are still there, but I went to a training class a couple weeks ago for a program that's 1% down. Credit's got to be good.
I feel like,
but
one of Delano or one of my other guys, I feel like he told me something.
Yeah, but 1% down with a 2% gift on a conventional loan. So if you want to buy a $200,000 house, the only thing I need is $2,000 for your down payment.
That's crazy.
That's. I don't know what else to tell you. So,
now, let me ask you this, because this is interesting. I've just thought about, you said, when you first started, it seemed like when you first started, was it around 2012-ish?
I was a showing agent for 3.5 years. Prior to that, was it 17? About 2011, 2012.
So this was just like not long after all that stuff happened with the foreclosures, the credit, all of that, and that subprime lending.
Yeah.
So just around, because I feel like even like the stock market, it goes in different waves, and the same thing with real estate. So just like, how many people, like wealthy people, like really cleaned up, like right after that time when the market was like, when people were forced out of their homes and they would feel like they were getting these homes on pennies on the dollar or something.
It was the smart investors.
Smart ones, right.
Smart investors.
If you knew what you were doing. That was the perfect time, right?
Yes. They made a killing, man. And I was I was a baby in the real estate at the time. I didn't have the connections, but, I've heard of people, buying literally brand new houses and just renting them out, from a builder, buying houses, renting them out for 3 to 5 years. And I'll give it was one, it's Ryland Homes. They're not even in Texas anymore. But a guy bought 3 homes from Ryland Home, including the model. And he may have paid a total of $800,000 for all 4 houses. He kept them for 5 years, and he sold them all for $2.4 million. But you, as a smart investor, you have to understand market tendencies. Real estate is the catalyst of our economy. So when real estate is well, most other things are too. So they bet.
So things are like pretty good right now, then, right?
Yeah. That's why I say, man, if you're able to buy a house right now, now's the time. Last year was the time. The year before that was also the time. So the longer you wait, the larger of a gap that you're losing by throwing away money at rent. Because even in Brandy's situation, $30,000, $40,000, really over a year and a half, 2 years. If Brandy called me right now and said, "Hey, Darrion, I need to sell my house," she's gonna probably walk away with $40,000.
Yeah, you might need to sell that joint.
No, you saying that thing, bro.
I'm playing.
But that's $40,000.
Don't sell it, rent it.
And you're able, when you start doing those things, and I know people my age who parents never bought a house. And I'm like, hey, encourage your parents to go out and buy a house. I literally met people that have lived in the same apartment in the same complex for 25 years.
That's right.
25 years in the same 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment complex, and they ain't changed the carpet out since '99.
So you are saying that you're on the side of it's better to own than to buy, because I read different articles saying like, why buy while you're young, save that money, don't rent, and get that responsibility. I've heard kind of both sides of the story.
I have too, and I always say this: it's, in my opinion, I feel that ownership is better than, now, unless you are a traveling person and you're never going to stay anywhere more than a year and a half, 2 years. That may be a case, but even so, with those people, you're always going to have a home base, you know, for most part. Maybe it's near your family, maybe it's near, you know, a group of friends. I would even buy a home there, even as an investment property, you know, even though you may be traveling, but because there's still going to be some increase in value in that home. You know, there's a reason that, I don't know the stats, but I want to say the vast majority, I'm talking 90 to 95% of millionaires and billionaires have real estate in their portfolio. It's a reason.
It seems like, and this is my plan. I'm just going to tell you my plan.
Yeah.
I want to build my business, get profitable, you know, start generating a fair amount of income, and literally I want my business to evolve to where I got like a separate real estate business. It's kind of just, I'm just a real estate investor. That's why I want to get to the point where I'm just an investor.
Yeah, and I mean it's like, and the fortunate thing, I get to rub shoulders with a lot of these guys, and I've even had to, I mean, like I said, you talked about road bumps earlier. I had to change my own way of thinking, you know, in regards to how I spend my own money, because I'll be completely transparent. You know, my corporate jobs, I was making decent money. I came into real estate, and I remember when my last year in corporate, I would make my full year salary in 2 months. So, but me coming into that money with an infant train of thought, you know, I wanted to buy this and go here and go do this and so on and so forth. And it took, you know, God really correcting me and showing me, hey, you got to change this. I'm blessing you with this stuff, but you got to change this, because the vision that you have is different than the vision the way you've been following. So, you know, and I'll give you an example. You know, I like cars. I've been wanting this Escalade for 2 years now.
I feel like we talked about this when Brandy was working on cars.
Yeah. So I've been wanting this Escalade, bro.
Yeah.
Can I afford it? Yes. But is it a wise decision for me to go out and get $1,000 car note?
Self-discipline.
$1,000 car note. So
smart decisions.
So here's my way of managing money, and I'm not saying everybody has to follow it.
Right.
When I go buy this Escalade, I was probably going to put, say, $20,000 down. Okay. So instead of me going and giving Crest and Sewell and Grubbs or John Wood Cadillac that $20,000, let me use my credit and go buy a rental property. $100,000 rental property. I'm not talking about a big apartment complex. Take that $100,000 property, put my $20,000 down, my mortgage payment on it, taxes and insurance, maybe $500 high end. I can rent it out for $1,200, $1,300. Well, conservatives will say 12. I got a net of 7.
7 and the Escalade.
Yeah. So
just trying to do some math here.
Yeah. So I can now take that net, leave a little bit for capital, because you have to plan for things that come up. But I can now take $600-700 and go finance my Cadillac for that amount. And now I'm not having to get up and go out and try to get business every day to pay for it. Once it's paid off, I still have a property.
Right.
So I'm still making that money.
I got you.
The Cadillac paid off now.
Right. I got you.
But where have I spent money? I spent $20,000. I haven't even spent it. I've invested $20,000 in something that's going to pay me back well more than that. And then if I don't need it anymore, I could probably sell the property for $110,000, $120,000.
Right.
So, you know.
That makes sense. Now, that's going to lead me into another question.
Yeah.
I just want to pause right there, because I feel like
Wendy gone, man.
I feel like it's important for us to, you know, start investing our money, because a lot of us, you know, I say majority black people, we we get a lot of money. You know, a lot of money as a race. A lot of money comes through our hands, but we spend it on stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and I've been guilty of this too. Yeah. You know, I like stuff too. I like to travel. I like to go out, have a good time, and you know, and buy clothes from time to time. Which I haven't been doing that since I started entrepreneurship, because that would just be crazy. But my point is we can start investing this money into something tangible like real estate or even a stock, you know, and try to get a return on our money. So it's okay that you want to get an Escalade or, you know, you want to take a trip, you know, out the country. Yeah. But invest your money into something that will finance it. Yeah. You know, I read a book. I don't know if it was a Millionaire Next Door, but it was a wealthy couple, or maybe in a Rich Dad Poor Dad. But his wife, she wanted to buy a Benz. He said, okay, well, let's figure out a way, to make $100,000 instead of going in our pocket, going to get a bank, you know, X amount on interest. Let's make the money. So that's smart, you know, like that scenario that you just painted about getting that.
And I'll give you a quick story, man, about an investor I met. He's foreign. He's an Indian guy. Great guy.
I heard a lot of foreigners are like overseas investing out here in the U.S. Like he's coming up here buying up all kinds of property.
And because they've done it, they're generational people. So they take care of their elders, and when they become elders, their kids take care of them. We're the only, I'll go us on us. We're the only culture that gets our kids out the house at 18. We're the first. As soon as he turned 18, as soon as she turned 18, she gone. Right. Everybody else is trying to keep them in until they're at that point. But with that being said, man, I sat down and I talked to him. Great guy. Mm-hmm. He says the world, the world looks at us, our culture, as prime economic business. Mm-hmm. He says we are nothing but. Our culture does nothing but hold our hands under running water, and what he meant by that is the water is kind of is symbolic of money, and we're holding our hands under the water. So imagine yourself with your hands underneath water, and the water is running. That water goes through it more than what it holds. And he's like, that's why they love you so much. He says, no matter how much water hits your hand, you're not going to keep it because it's just going to continue to flow through your fingers. And all it's going to do is become profitable for that sink. When it hits the sink, if you notice, it spreads. So all of these people,
I'm trying to walk up with it a bucket.
Yeah, and that's what he. I mean, that's what he went on to say. Other cultures are cups. Other cultures are buckets. Other cultures are something that will hold a lot more and flow out a lot less. But us as our culture, we're holding our hands underneath running water, and that's how we treat money.
You got to change that.
That's what we are, a $1 trillion industry, and we let it run through our hands because we are trying to get Escalades, trying to put rims on it, trying to have the
auto service at the club.
I gotta have my Galaxy S8, you know, an $800 cell phone. We gotta have, and there's nothing wrong, people, having nice things. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's the way that we acquire it and the patience that has to be put into it. Right. Because if we are a little bit patient now, we can have a lifetime of relaxation.
Right. You got kids, don't you?
I got two of them. Two girls.
Two girls?
Two girls.
How old are they?
6 and 2.
Okay. So you're working on building a legacy for them, right?
Man, you know what, man? I'm trying to put my kids in a situation like none other. They're very fortunate. My mother-in-law owns a very successful medical supply business that's willed to them. And this business.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Leaving our kids some businesses, cash flow to something already, you know. And that's what we need to start doing.
They have a business will to them. They will learn how to run it by the age of 15.
They're gonna be on the real estate game.
They go be on the real estate game. They're gonna know. My youngest, Carly. Hey man, I'm just telling you, watch out for her because she will. She is smart. She is witty. She knows how to manage things.
That's good.
And she's 2. What she doesn't do, she don't play. And she knows how to use her words the way they need to be used. I am afraid of the world for her. Kyla, she's going to be great. She's going to, handle it the right way. But Carly, she could take over the world in a
her
heartbeat.
own million.
Yeah, I'm scared for y'all. Scared for y'all.
Dang, that's what's up. But I wanted to get back to something because you said you were going to invest in a rental property. Mm-hmm. Now, me and Brandy, it's funny. We went to a real estate conference by Fortune Builders. I don't know if you heard of them.
I heard them.
A ton of great content. That's when I first started learning about wholesaling. Mm-hmm. You know, the contract, basically flipping back, getting the contracts, and all those type of things. Flipping homes. Now, you have your realtor license, and one of the things they were saying is a fine line between being like an investor and a realtor. Yeah. Can you just talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean it's
like with as far as the rules and regulations and like.
Yeah, well, so real estate agents, we're governed by TREC and Texas Real Estate Commission, National Association of Realtors, Texas Association of Realtors. We have governing bodies and governing rules. We have certain contracts that we must use that we can't alter. So when you start getting into wholesaling and things like that, it's difficult to wholesale underneath TREC rules. Really? So it can be done. Now it can
right. That's right.
So here's I don't do it, and I have nothing against it. There's a lot of successful people that do it, and there's a lot of successful real estate agents that do it. It's just we can't alter a form. Now a client can take a form to an attorney and have it altered on their behalf.
I feel like that's where they were talking about with the form, that contract. Correct. Like what can be in there. Like, are you the buyer, are you the seller, you're the agent? Like, what are you?
So when you put, buyer, the Austin Collab Money Talk Show or on assignment, that you can put that on there. But when you start assigning contracts, and when you're assigning a contract to a different buyer, and you got multiple closings and so on and so forth, TREC is very conservative because they're not trying to get sued. Neither am I. So we stick to our guns as far as what we do with our contracts, and that's why I don't do a lot of wholesaling. Nothing against it at all. Now I haven't gotten down that path.
For those who may not know what wholesaling is, can you just kind of briefly explain to them what that is? Because that's, for me, when we went to that seminar, me and Brandon's like, man, we could do that right now. You don't need to have, a lot of money. So can you just explain what that is?
Wholesaling is, it's a way of I'm basically buying a property with very little money and selling it before you take complete ownership. So to give the scenario and a breakdown, DeRay's living in a house, and he needs to sell it for whatever reason. And a wholesaler goes and talks to him and like, hey, I understand your situation. Your mother passed the house down to you. She had filed exempt on her taxes. Now those taxes became due. You just want to make a quick 10, 15 grand and get out. Right. And we look up that house and notice, well, he only wants $100,000 for it, but it's worth $180,000. But because he's trying to get out, let's help him to get this done. And I come in, our contract say, hey, I'll give you your 110 or whatever it is that you're asking for. And I'm going to present it to you as if I'm buying it in cash. But I'm not, but I'm buying it in cash. So what I do is I take that contract. That you have signed to sell me the house, and I put it on assignment. I go out to the wholesale market where investors are because the house does need work. And I say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Investor, I have a property for you that's $140,000. And you say, okay, well, what's the average repair value? Well, I'm sorry, the after repair value. About 180. So after they do their closing costs and what they have to put in it, they may walk away with 20 grand. And now the investors made 20 grand. The wholesaler has made the difference of what he contracted it with you for and what this investor is buying it from. Right. Now, this middle wholesaler, they don't have to have a license. They just have to have a contractual agreement with you to sell the house and with them to sell it to them. Right. Now, most likely on this second side, with the investor, they're going to use standard traditional TREC forms because that's.
So you mean they can see what you made?
No, they'll never see what you make.
Okay. All right. I know I heard sometimes they can see what you made, sometimes they can't.
No, that all of those money and dollar stuff, that's all done with the title company. So the title company doesn't disclose profits and things like that. Now, as an agent, I can see when I'm listing a house what that person may make on there. But as a buyer, my buyer does not see their net.
Okay.
So that buyer, that investor that's buying it from you, doesn't see that. Now you will get to, as a wholesaler, you will get to see what that seller is making. But as far as the numbers, they don't skew or blend, so it's all kept out.
All right. So I kind of want to ask you a two-part question.
Go for it.
First was really the same question, but kind of just two different small scenarios. The first, like for someone who may be in their late 20s, early 30s, millennials, who's making decent money, and they may have a little bit disposable income, say let's $1 to $2 grand a month, and they wanted to start getting started investing in real estate. What approach would you give them?
First thing I tell them is buy their own house.
Okay.
Easiest investments you can make is into yourself. Buy your own.
Okay.
Because it's no point in you buying an investment property, but you live in an apartment. No need to have a Mercedes when you live with your mother. So buy your own house. Invest in yourself first. From there, that will allow you to, continue to grow your wealth.
Okay, so you get your own home. What's next?
What's
property
next?
Or wholesale? What?
It depends on what you have a taste for. It really does. You got to keep in mind the pros and cons on both. If you want to flip a property, that's great. But you need to know what you're getting yourself into. How much it's going to cost to buy it? What are your closing costs when you sell it? How much is it going to cost to repair it? What you're going to be able to sell it for? Who's going to sell it for you? Because if you can't, if you're going to hire a realtor, that's 3% to that selling agent. That's another 3% to the buyer's agent. That's on a $200,000 house. That's $12 grand. That cuts into your profit. So, me, I just throw out my promo. I don't charge investors that much because I prefer the repetitive business, but you have to look at those things. Renting a house is great. You got money, you got cash flow that's coming in, whether it's
cash flow.
The $300, $400, $500 a month, whatever it may be.
I like that.
But you have to keep it rented out. If it's not rented out, you got to pay for it out of your own pocket.
So really, y'all help people rent houses out too,
yeah,
right?
We help people rent houses. Okay. You have tenants. Now you're a landlord. So if that toilet don't flush at 1 o'clock in the morning, how are you going to get that addressed? Are you going to manage the property yourself? Or are you going to pay for a property management company?
Cut into your profits again.
Cut into your profits again. So it really is going to depend on what you have a taste for. There are tons of ways to invest in real estate, which is why I believe real estate is a catalyst for the economy. I mean, whether it's a lawn mowing service, whether it's a contracting company. I mean, I know great inspectors that make money in the real estate market. If you want to become an appraiser, if you want to become a transaction coordinator.
Can't you do appraising on the side, or someone's like just doing that on the side?
Yeah, nah. You
need to be full-time appraising homes?
I don't think you don't have to be full-time, but there is a lot of work that goes into getting an appraisal license. Mm-hmm. So once you take the class and pass the test, you have, I think it's 20,000 hours of mentorship you have to go through, and you have to find a mentor that's willing to do that. Okay. Don't quote me on the hours. I just know it's a lot. Okay. But you have to find a willing licensed appraiser to be able to sign off on your appraisals for a long time. But once you do, again, that's pretty good business. Okay. So, yeah. It's just different ways you can make money in real estate.
Gotcha. So, part B, like I said, kind of the same question, but slightly different scenario. Now we're moved down the line a little bit. We're in our mid-40s. We experienced some financial success. We become a millionaire.
Nice.
We got, I have to speak things into existence.
I like it.
You got, $200,000 or $300,000 in cash and savings. You've been saving, just waiting for the perfect opportunity. What do you suggest to that person if they're trying to invest in real estate?
What I suggest is one, you're a millionaire and you're gonna make 0.0125% or so on that savings account.
Never. Me personally, I would not. Unless I was saving for something to invest, I really wouldn't have that much money in cash. But I'm just.
So
if you got that much money to invest in real estate,
I would. I mean, the model follows the same. The difference of what you're able to do as a new or millennial type investor versus a seasoned financial person is that you can risk more, therefore your profit could be more. You may be able. So now, if you come across a deal to where your upfront investment may be $100,000. You can afford to take that risk because you are worth a few $1 million.
Yeah.
Where right now I can't risk $100,000.
Right.
So that's the main. But again, the model follows the same. instead of you investing in a rental house, now you can invest in multifamily. You know, now you can go and buy a $500,000 multifamily property and take the cash flow from that. So, you know, the model doesn't change. It's just how much you're able to do. It's no different than a developer, you know, or a person that wants to build a house. If you buy land and you build a house on it, you know, that's great. You'll have some equity built in. Well, people like Craig, who developed Winsong Ranch, you know, that's a 3,500 homes that are being built. Well, he bought the land and developed the land, and now he's essentially flipping houses with new builders, but these houses cost up to $700,000-$800,000.
Right.
You know, so he's gonna make a lot of money off of that. It just parallels. Yeah, but that's not his first go around either. You know, he's done this before. Nice, humble guy. Met him, shook his hand. He made me coffee, but I know he's worth $300-400 million. You know,
that's what I'm trying to hang around.
Yeah, so
want some of that to rub off on.
but yeah, that again, model follows the same. It's just whatever your appetite is and what you want to invest in. There are plenty of ways to make money in real estate.
Got you. Man, I feel like you done dropped a lot of knowledge on us already, man.
I appreciate it, man, because you asked some wonderful questions.
All right, man, you gave some good answers. I thought we was gonna be done and long, but hey, it just kept on going. One more before we get out of here. I know you got some.
I'm good, man. You told me. Yeah.
Okay. As far as the investing side, one thing that I learned when I went to that real estate conference was about is it the MLM where all the homes are listed? Is that what it's called? MLS. I'm thinking multi-level marketing.
Yeah.
Some dude be calling my phone about that. Hey, man, come to a meeting, man. I ain't talked to you in a long time. I want you to meet somebody. Nothing against those people who are doing that. You know, shout out to all my people who do the multi-level marketing. You know, I ain't knocking it. Y'all always positive and full of energy. But I feel like you got real estate agents, you know, you guys have an advantage because you got access to that. So you can see, you know, what's on there. But how do investors find those homes that's like not listed on there? That's off the market.
That's not on MLS.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get out and network. You gotta there's groups that are out there, like New West. They are a wholesaling company. So you get on their email list, you can see all of their wholesale properties. Simple House Solutions, one of my favorites, to be honest with you. You can get on there and see what houses they have available that you can purchase from them and then go ahead and flip. It's not hard. If you show enough interest, you go to enough meetings, you'll find the groups that have
a couple.
Yeah, that have the off market properties. And call the numbers on it. When you drive by and you see that sign, we'll buy your house for cash.
I say, yeah, me and Brady made a few of those signs.
Yeah, that's those guys. Call them and say, hey, you know, I don't have a house to sell, but I want to know what you have.
Right.
You know, and you can possibly buy from them what they're wholesaling. So, you know, that's how you find out that information on what they have going on. Aside from, you know, if you do want to see something that's on the market, then you know, you call a realtor and say, hey, you know, let me not say call, hire, because, you know, a lot of agents don't want to just be running MLS searches and spending hours upon hours of time sending out properties, and you're just doing it for your amusement and your enjoyment.
Right. No, that makes sense. So last question for like someone who wants to say like me, I want to get started investing in real estate, and you know, I got a few grand, but I want to get going with some other investors. How will some ordinary person go about, you know, finding these investors who actually invest in this? And, you know, if you find them, bring them a good deal, they're like, okay, here, I got $100 grand.
Well, that's
more networking or?
Nah, well, if you got a few grand, you can.
You want to partner with someone.
Yeah, that'll probably be your best interest, maybe partner. Now, you have hard money lenders out there that will, they'll foot a vast majority of it. You got to put some skin in the game.
Right.
But they will foot the vast majority of the job.
And they're going to tax you though, right?
They make, but at the end of the day, you loan somebody $100 grand, you going to want your return on your profits. That's another way to make money in real estate, FYI. So, you know, they're taking the risk because you have $5,000, but they're giving you the $70 to buy the house, and they're giving you the other $30 to repair it.
Right.
So all you putting in is $5,000.
Yeah.
And they've now put up, you know, $100 grand, And yeah, you may sell it for $150, and yeah, they may take $20,000.
Yeah.
But your 5 has now turned into 20.
Hey, that's not a bad day at the office.
That's not, you know, but that's
you
real.
That
I mean,
5 times a year,
yeah.
you made $100,000.
Yeah, but that's how hard money lenders are. And there's tons of them out there, you know, but they're gonna hit you over the head with their return. And if you don't sell the house or you don't do what they need to do, they're on title, so they can go do whatever they want to do with the house. And you know, so because they have the investment, they're on it. They own it just as much as you do.
Right.
So you know, but it's possible to be done. But you know, sit back, save your money, and find out your appetite on how you want to invest. You know, there's, like I said, several different ways to get involved with real estate. Sit down. If you want to talk to somebody like me, talk to somebody like me and ask, hey.
Where can they find you if they do want to talk to you, young fella?
Oh, it's died. We'll close that out. Got a couple of suggestions to help you out. What you talking about, Kurt? Oh, okay. Sorry, that's my mentor in real estate. But you can find me anywhere, man. Facebook, my page is Darrion Butler. I'm not hiding anywhere. Phone number 972-302-1981. Email dbutler@Fathom Realty. Whichever way you need to get a hold of me, ping me from DeRay's show. He tagged me on there. He has his information. He has my information as well. You want to find me? I'm not hard to find, man. Google me. You know, I come up on Google.
There we go. I
come up on Siri. You know,
you
say I want to talk to the real estate butler because that's my Siri name, or however they call it now. It'll bring it. Actually, I saw it end up tagging my home address. I was a little nervous about that, but it comes
your information out there.
Yeah.
Man, I really, really, really appreciate you coming in. And you know what, man? I think I may have mentioned this to you a while back, man, but I really want to get together with you and put together like a little seminar workshop where we can bring some people out and kind of talk about the financial literacy and how that ties into real estate, man. So,
hey, man, I'd love to.
Yeah, don't be surprised if I reach out to you soon and say, hey, man, I got a venue. I got a time, I got a date. Does that work for you? And I want to put together something so we can, like I said, man, people in general need to know more about this type of information, especially if you have children, you're trying to build a legacy, you know, you're trying to create wealth. If you're trying to create wealth, like I said, most millionaires and billionaires, they have real estate in their portfolio.
Real estate and insurance.
Real estate and insurance. So, I mean, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. Just find successful people, find out what they're doing, copy it, you know, and, you know your market and be knowledgeable, or talk with someone who is. You know, that's why I got my friends texting me right now, and they talking about meeting up tonight, and 2 of them are smarter than me. I want to always be around smarter people. You know, find someone who's smarter or who knows a lot about a certain topic like real estate or investing, and, you know, pick their brain, take them out to lunch.
Yeah, that's how you network, man. That's how you grow. True. I mean, you asked the question, how do you grow, man? One thing I learned a while back when I started meeting these millionaires and I started coming across them, it's not all it for how they earn. I try to pick their brain for what they've learned.
Right.
Because every millionaire has a story. Every billionaire has a story about what has came across. So stop being concerned with what they drive and where they live and what vacation spots they've been to.
Right. Find out what books they read.
Exactly.
Who are their mentors?
Exactly. Find out what they have learned, and that's the difference between that's the difference in acquiring knowledge. You either learn it firsthand or you gain wisdom by somebody else that's already been through it. Take that wisdom route as much as you can, because it's like no need to reinvent the wheel, no needing to go over the same road bumps that they went over. And I'll tell you my story. Anybody want to hear my story, man? Call me. We can have lunch. I'll pay for it. I'll tell you my story. I don't hold it back, but
Most people I feel like a lot of people get the myth that like millionaires, some people they wouldn't want to share their story and tell you how they got it.
Yeah.
Like he said he's willing. Like it's I told you it's the curse of the desert to know where the water is and not tell anybody.
Exactly.
You know, we want to share this information. You know, because if we're able to help more people, God's going to continue to bless us, shine His grace on us, and you can't light a torch for someone else and not light yourself up.
Yep.
It's just not going to happen.
And it's not that people don't want to share what they did. They don't want their time wasted. They don't want to. I promise you, most billionaires, and I'm talking about from, Mark Cuban on up,
time is valuable.
Their time is valuable. My time is valuable.
Right.
And they don't want to, they're more willing to sit down and discuss things with you if it is a valuable set of time. One rule of most billionaires, you never eat lunch alone. And so like Oprah, she never eats lunch alone. And she can be by herself as much as she wants to, but, she's not, that time her sitting down eating, she tries not to waste that time. Mark Zuckerberg, you ever wonder why he wears the same clothes every day? He wears the same gray T-shirt, same jeans, same shoes, and he put on a sport coat when he got to present because he don't want to waste time trying to figure out what to wear when he got to pack. But we sitting up here picking out, spending 2 hours getting dressed. Jeans and a T-shirt, but, and some Chucks. Yeah. So
hey, you could do that when you're an entrepreneur, though.
Absolutely.
Unless you're about to go show at home, I'm sure you're not gonna wear it.
All right, I got to do. I mean, it depends on the client. I have shown up to showings in basketball shorts and T-shirts and some Jordans. But it depends on the client. You try to be relatable to what you got.
I like those socks, by the way, man.
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Guys, this is the Austin Collab Money Talk. We have been blessed by very special guests. My partner, my brother, my friend.
Proud of you, man.
Yes, I appreciate that, man. When I get to that next level of income, man, I definitely got to hit you up. Because, the real estate guy got to get into that industry, that game. Not full time, but like I said, I do want to become an investor. And I know a lot of you guys out there want to become real estate investors, so I hope you got to listen to the information. But I'll have the replay in a few days as well. So thank you. This is the Austin Collab Money Talk. We're live on the Fishbowl Radio Network. Have my special guest again, Darrion Butler. He's a realtor with Fathom Realty. Check out his information. He's on Facebook, social media, all that jazz. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to come back and wrap up. Before we go, here's my man, Nas, one mic. Welcome back. This is the Ray. This is the Austin Collab Money Talk. Man, for those of you who just checked us out on Facebook or listened in, I'm sure you heard my guest, Darrion Butler, a realtor here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, was dropping some knowledge on how to get started investing in real estate. He even gave a few different examples of some properties that he's working with right now, which is one he's going to show today is a $3.1 million 35-unit apartment building out in Denton, Texas. So right now is definitely a great time to start investing in real estate. Hopefully we can all get to that point where we can start investing in different properties, whether that be commercial or residential, multi-unit or single-family homes, whatever the case may be. We definitely want to get to the point where we can start using real estate to create wealth. Who doesn't want to create wealth? Leave legacy for your loved ones, for your children, grandchildren. Leave them some property, something that's tangible, something that can create cash flow. So he talked a lot about real estate and the different types of properties and the different avenues that we can get started investing in real estate. And that leads me again to our first sponsor of the Austin Collab Money Talk, sponsored by McCary Financial Solutions. This young man is all about teaching financial literacy, and that's what I'm about. So he was kind enough to sponsor our show today. If you're watching us on Facebook, the link is in my status. He does have a financial education course, the McCary Financial School. He talks about one of the most important things in creating wealth, how to pay yourself first. You need to pay yourself first before you pay anyone else. Talks about how to participate in the stock market, how to increase your net worth. And one of the favorite things that I like that he talks about is the importance of owning your own business. All right? To have ownership in something. you know, and there's different ways that you can own your own business. You can start your business, your own business, or you can have ownership in another corporation. You know, I was talking to one of my old classmates just yesterday, and he was looking for a job. I hope he finds one, by the way. You know, I hope you find exactly what you're looking for. And again, I'm not knocking the job, you know, because it seems like he does something that, you know, he will enjoy doing. But, you know, he was telling me that he wasn't built for entrepreneurship. You know, he didn't want to deal with the stresses, the wear and tear that it takes on your body, or, you know, your mental capacity or what have you. He wasn't built for that. Listen, if you want to become a millionaire, a multimillionaire, then you need to figure it out, okay? Because you don't necessarily, again, have to start your own business. You can have ownership in different types of businesses and still work a job. I know a friend of mine right now who works with a Fortune 100 company and has his own business outside of that. You know, I know another friend who has his primary business, but he's part ownership in a restaurant. Okay, so there's different avenues you can take to become an entrepreneur. And you know, with technology and the internet today, you know, there's so many different ways that you can create a business, and it doesn't necessarily have to be stressful. So do your research, read up about it, read some articles, go to some seminars, learn more about how to create ownership. All right, and you can start by checking out my guys' financial education course, the McCrary Financial School. The link is in my status if you're following us on Facebook. If not, Google it, search it on Facebook. Check me out on Facebook. He's also on Facebook. And if you would like to be a sponsor of the Austin Collab Money Talk, don't hesitate to hit me up. If you know me, shoot me a text. Email me at theaustincollab@gmail.com. Message me on Facebook or social media, and we can get you set up if you have a business or anything that you want to promote. You know, maybe you have an event coming up and you want to promote it. My friend, she just had her 3rd annual Suck It To Me Fashion Show, and, you know, I was able to promote that last week. So if you got an event coming up, a conference, or any type of product or service that you want promoted, holla at me. So before we get out of here, you know, I just want to talk a little bit about some positive things that you can do to overcome obstacles or challenges. Because in life, those are pretty much inevitable. You know, at some point or another, you're going to come across an obstacle or a roadblock or a challenge. Me and Darrion talked a little bit about, you know, some of the road bumps that he had when he first started off in real estate. All right, so I kind of just want to start by telling you a quick little story that happened a few years ago when I was still working out in Louisville, Texas. I was working that good old 12 to 9 shift, and I was getting off work at 9 p.m. And one of my favorite bands, RC and the Grits, they're a local band here out in Dallas, Texas. RC is one of the producers for Erykah Badu, but they were performing out in Denton, which was probably about 15, 20 minutes north of where I was at. But shortly after I left work and headed to Denton, I found myself like stuck in traffic. Like it was not moving at all. You know, my hopes is that it was going to be a brief delay due to construction or maybe an accident, but that wasn't the case at all. Like this was just stuck. I was sitting there literally for over an hour. Finally made it to the next exit and said, you know what? I actually got to work tomorrow morning, so I'm just going to turn around. So that was, you know, a situation where my plans were inconveniently ruined due to an outside circumstance. All right. So in life, and especially in business, you have to be prepared for the unexpected. You know, in an empowerment class that I taught through Wings Dallas, great organization, you know, one thing that I learned is that there are chosen obstacles and there are imposed obstacles. A chosen obstacle is one in which we play a major part in the reason why we're going through that challenge or obstacle. So I gave this example a few shows ago is, I don't know, maybe a couple of years ago, I was summoned to pay $300 to the city of Carrollton for 2 traffic violations. That was a chosen obstacle. I chose to speed or not have my registration or whatever it was back then. That was on me. I couldn't blame anyone else for that. Now, in other cases, we faced imposed obstacles, which are things that occur that we have no control over. So, the first story that I gave, I missed that show because, the roads were blocked off and traffic wasn't flowing. So that was completely out of my control. So that could be considered, an imposed obstacle. So, like I said, whenever you're placed in a circumstance that you have limited or no control over, there are a few different approaches that you can take on how you're going to handle that situation. One stance is to get completely discombobulated and see only the negative in your situation. And unfortunately, guys, whenever you're going through a difficult time or challenge, it's really, really easy to look at the negative in whatever you're going through. Now, I would prefer to take a different route. So that's why, I want to share this content on 3 positive approaches that you can take when things transpire that are completely out of your control. So the first tip that I have is what I call the 90-10 rule. Said this multiple times in my blogs or speaking, when I'm out doing different engagements, or even on a radio show. And that there is a well-known saying that is life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. So I can give many examples of, when myself or someone else, reacted badly to a situation instead of taking a more positive or subtle approach. Now, luckily, I've been able to learn from some of those mistakes, and I can attest that the positive mind makes the challenge or obstacle so much more easier to deal with. A great example is a guy named Peter Thiel, or Thiel. I don't know how you pronounce his last name, but he's one of the co-founders of PayPal. He also founded another company called Palantir. After graduating Stanford Law School, Thiel, like many other ambitious law students, he went on to interview for a clerkship with the Supreme Court Justice. He failed, and according to him in his book, 0 to 1, he was completely devastated. Now, at that point, he could have easily folded and let that situation defeat him. Instead, he went on to co-found PayPal and then sold the company. And many people or many guys who watch the show, listen to the show, like me, probably use PayPal. And today is worth several $1 billion. So remember, life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. Now, what is up with my... So the next positive approach that I want to share is turning a setback into a comeback. Turn a minor setback into a major comeback. All right? So, I believe that in every bad situation, there is an opportunity to turn that situation into a positive outcome, or at least learn a lesson that can help you in the future. Yes, back to it. Turn a minor setback into a major comeback. So there's a saying that goes, in order to experience joy, you need pain. And I give you guys a really, really fresh example in Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors. Although they did get Kevin Durant this year, just a year prior, they experienced a horrible loss in the NBA Finals. They blew a 3-1 lead. Now, if you watch the interviews, the press conference, it looks like man so sad. But they experienced a lot of pain that year. And they had to wait a whole year just to get another opportunity to redeem themselves. And boy, did they redeem themselves this year. They beat LeBron and the Cavaliers. They won the series 4-1. So they didn't blow one lead again, like some people probably thought. All my LeBron fans out there. I don't know why LeBron got so many haters. He's one of my favorite players. But they turned a setback into a major comeback because now they're NBA champions and they just went to the club and spent $150,000 on champagne, which I thought they would spend way more than that. But anyhow, they redeemed themselves. And the best examples that I could think of is the story of Job in the Bible. He endured many setbacks. In fact, probably major setbacks, losing his family, a lot of different possessions, even his own health. You know, reading the story can be kind of depressing, but it had a wonderful ending because God restored his family, his wealth, and his health. And that's turning the setback into an amazing. The last part, or last suggestion I have for taking a positive approach to overcome a major setback is looking at the big picture. In life, inevitably, things are going to happen that are outside of our control. When these things occur, I believe that it is extremely important to keep things in perspective. If the situation is not life-threatening to you or your loved ones, and you have food and shelter, then honestly, the circumstances should be manageable. And I'm not saying that overcoming obstacles will always be easy, but I am saying it won't kill you. And what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. In this world, everyone is subject to facing adversity. No matter where you come from, how much money you have, or whatever your situation is, everyone has to go through challenges. And those who are able to keep things in perspective and push through their challenges are the ones who typically prevail and achieve high levels of success. For entrepreneurs, especially, you need to be able to be strong and overcome one challenge after another. Personally, I think many people who have reached high levels of success will say that they actually enjoy overcoming challenges because it brings out the best in you. It helps you build character. It makes you stronger. So, 3 positive approaches for overcoming obstacles or challenges, adversity. Remember the 90-10 rule. Life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. 2, turn a minor setback into a major comeback. Remember what happened to Golden State Warriors last year? They blew a 3-1 lead. Now they're NBA champions. KD got his first one. Shout us out to KD. Lastly, look at the big picture. Remember to keep things in perspective. You know, if it's not life-threatening to you or your loved ones, then the situation should be manageable. That's all I have for today. I definitely want to thank my guest, Darrion Butler, for coming on to drop some knowledge. I want to thank my sponsor, Ryan McCrary. Check the link in my status if you want to enroll in the McCrary Financial School. Course is filled with a lot of great content. So definitely check that out. This is DeRay signing off with the Austin Collab Money Talk on the Fishbowl Radio Network. Everyone have a wonderful week. Peace out, everybody. See y'all next week. Hey, next week is going to be dope. I got my cousin, my family, my loved one coming in to talk about fitness, health, and nutrition. Y'all check us out.